Well, hello there. What have we got over here? In this episode of my digital Lego city, I made a huge expansion. I've added a new room so I can continue growing my city. As you can probably tell, I enjoy industrial structures, so it felt natural to start there. However, I do want to build other types of scenes, like residential areas and countrysides. I've previously mentioned, when I run out of room, I would expand the city by creating another room and punch holes into the wall to allow trains to run through. This is more realistic to how scale modelers and other real Lego builders expand their cities, so I did it here. Hey, so keeping the wall not only allows me to create a visual barrier, but also allows me to create drastic scenery and context changes without the difficulty of creating a gradual transition from one scene to another or creating a visually jarring scenery change. I'm going to have other holes as required to run additional trains. This is just to start. So, to start off this section, I decided to create a peach farm. My wife and I take day trips every once in a while to a town called Niagara-on-the-Lake. We take this picturesque route, and along the way, we pass by many peach farms and wine vineyards. A while ago, I saw an online presentation by author Peter McCluster about older rail lines that used to crisscross the area. Today, there are few visible traces left of the trains that once served this area. In fact, I think most people would be pretty surprised that this road once had 2 tracks and heavy trains would rumble down it. In Peter's presentation, he showed this picture, which I thought would be really interesting to build in Lego, but using my era, circa 1980s technology. So I built it. This is my version of the barn. It's a rickety old barn with patchwork fixes all over the place, but it's serving its purpose, full of fruit being packed into boxes and eventually loaded onto a boxcar. A stone path in the front connects it to another open-air loading dock, where I figure more peaches could be loaded and also be used to offload materials like fertilizer and other supplies for the farm. Beside the barn, this temporary area here marks out where I'm going to put a house for the family that owns the farm. On the inside of the barn, people are working hard to pack the peaches into boxes. Boxes and crates are stacked all the way to the ceiling. I actually use these stacks to hide the snot bricks, plates, and other bricks required to support the external barn walls, which I decided to make out of vertically placed tiles to simulate the planks used on wooden barns. I also like the look of these huge cracks on the walls. Outside the barn, there is this little loading dock and spur where trains can move boxcars into position for loading. So I know it's not realistic to have a farm serviced by 1 or 2 boxcars. This would be totally done by trucks by now, but it's something I wanted to build in my imaginary world, that this little farm would still be serviced by trains, and I thought it would look really cool. I can imagine trains traveling down this rickety old track, passing through a narrow corridor lined with peach trees, all while the farm workers prepare to load the train. For the peach orchard, I created a bunch of peach trees. I designed 3 distinct trees in total. This is my first time building detailed trees, so that was interesting. Peach trees tend to have lighter colored leaves than apple trees, so I mostly use bright green leaf pieces. The leaves on peach trees are not very wide, but more narrow and long. However, this plant plate is all we have to work with. I still like how the trees turned out. The peach trees near me often have narrow but very twisted and curvy trunks, so I did that by using a lot of Technic axles, rounded bricks, animal tails, and just all sorts of slope pieces. On the peach farms I pass by, there are often smaller trees always mixed in. So in addition to the full-size trees, I created a set of smaller trees using these angled Technic axles. I've also created some small samplings. Picking and packing boxes is hard work. Time for a break. But not for too long. The boss is watching. The orchard opposite the barn is not fully fleshed out with details yet. It probably won't extend much further than this. Real orchards are huge, and a Lego scale version would take up the whole room. I don't think it's necessary to create such a large orchard to still achieve the feeling of a farm, so I probably won't make this any larger. I'm probably going to scatter some other smaller buildings such as maintenance and tool sheds around the property. On the other side, I've started to make it more lively. a child is playing with his dogs, and some farmers are taking care of their trees. Instead of the harsh, grungy atmosphere of the industrial part of the city, I'm aiming to create a calmer, more relaxed vibe in this area. So that's it for now. I like that now I have the room to build other kinds of buildings and scenery. I still love my little industrial area and will continue to expand on it. I'm not sure what's coming up next, but I still need to finish off the family farm building beside the barn. Thanks for watching.